What's going on, brother? Get ready to share my screen. So I just wanted to go over the feedback for the flyer that you did for YB. So let me pull that up here. And so I think this is the first flyer that you've done for 120. So yeah, good first effort, man. So like I said yesterday, I just wanted to go over some things just so you know like what we're looking for. So overall, I think it was a solid attempt. It was just a few minor things that you could do to take it from what it is now to a 120 flyer. I really like how you cropped him out like that and have his shoulder going above the box. I thought that was really slick. And I like the colors that you're rocking with as well. But just some feedback. So this photo I noticed, this is Sierra College. So that's definitely a 120 move right there to do something subtle like that in the background. So people who are at Sierra College will pick up on that, even subliminally, you know what I'm saying, or subconsciously. So I like that. The only issue I have with that photo is that it is too, I guess, too small. So when it's applied to this graphic, it's a little blurry. So I'll show you a quick way you can find photos on Google. So I'm sure you typed in Sierra College, right? But I do a couple of different things to find photos that are a little bit larger. So it looks like this is the one that you use. You see it's 260 by 260. Maybe this isn't the one, but maybe this one. Yeah, it's probably this one. But even still, it's 707 by 470. So height-wise, it's only 470 pixels tall, and this graphic should be 1080. So we're already about halfway. We're not even halfway there. So a good way you could do that is just click on them and click on others. See, this one would be better to use because it's 1400 by 933. So it's 933 pixels tall, which is closer to the size of the graphic. And I think when you did it, it was 1500 pixels, but you really only need to do 1080 because that's the size that they display on Instagram. 1080 by 1080, and then the IG Stories version is 1080 by 1920. So it's 1920 pixels tall by 1080 wide. So in something like this, being as though these aren't separate points, this is one statement, I would decrease the leading or the space between these lines. So we have this weird space in between these lines. It almost looks like these are separate statements, but this is all one paragraph. And also, be mindful of the margins or the padding outside of the text area. So if there's something like this was printed out, the sides would get cut off. So it's always good to have like an imaginary border or a margin around the edges. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I like how you did this here, September 27th at 7 p.m. For his name, I would probably make the name a bit bolder, have it regular, and then maybe have the titles italicized in a different way. So you put more emphasis on his name and who he is. And something that I didn't tell you, I did his logo in Affinity Designer back when I was really just starting out. I think his was like literally the first graphic design project that I did. So I didn't know anything about converting the stroke or expanding the stroke and converting to curves. So I need to go back in his files and do that. But when you decrease the size of his logo, you see like the circle is like really thick because that stroke is still on there and it's not expanded. So that's the issue there. This info is good. And also we want to make sure this is a capital G. I did see that on the flyer that he sent, or that the organization had, they have lowercase, but they did that because they have the word the and the word economy in all caps. So they just did that to, I guess, put some kind of emphasis on it, but we want to make sure it's consistent. So this could be capitals, or all of it could be capitals. And also Sierra College, this is like really small. When this is on Instagram, you're not going to be able to really see that. And also, you may want to consider having a wider logo. You know, they have a couple different configurations, so maybe use this one instead. Um, so that's something you should do. And also, being as though overall this is dark, you want to have some kind of contrast. So maybe make the background lighter and then have darker elements over top. Because down here, you'll see this red. I like the translucency effect, but it gets lost because this left-hand side of the graphic is so dark. This gets lost. So a way you can kind of counteract that is to have a couple layers here, but also make the top layer, set it to normal instead of like multiply, and then reduce the opacity just a little bit. Still have the other layers beneath it, but have a top layer as set to normal, and then just reduce the opacity a bit. It'll give it a little more pop as well. And also, you don't have enough space down here but beneath this text, so you may want to just move it up some. If you look at the flyer that I did for Kindle, you can see that I have, probably about this much space of, just dead space down here. Then I have the contact information just a little bit above that, because this is buttoned up against the bottom here, just a little too close. And we have plenty of room. See, we've got space here, space here, space here. So it's ways that we could go ahead and adjust that. So it's not like we're running out of room, and it's not enough room right now. What else did I want to mention about this? Yeah, overall, man, I think it's real solid. Also, this is a really good training piece right here. You want to lead the viewer's eyes. So you just don't want to just throw info on a flyer. You want to kind of direct them. So where should they look first? So when I look at this flyer, of course, I'm going to look at YB first. It's the largest thing on the graphic. But then, like, what else do I look at? Because everything else is kind of around the same size. Nothing's really bold like that. The gig economy, I probably would look at that just because it's in the white section. Probably would try to see what's above it and not really be able to tell. But you want to be able to guide the viewer's eyes. So I'll just show you some of the tweaks that I've been making. I actually recorded like a half-hour feedback video, and I was working on it and showing you what I was doing, and then I realized that it wasn't recorded. So what I'll do now is I'll just pull that up so you can see what I've been doing. You may have already seen this, but just so you can get into my head and think about what I was thinking. So. All right, so I pretty much kept your box idea. I like that a lot. And I moved this over and I made rounded corners. I forget why I did that with the rounded corners. I think just to make it a little different. So I'm not quite done yet. So what I was going to do here is put the date. So I was going to do this. Maybe have a white section. Something else we could do is just put like a stroke around it. So as you see, for contrast purposes, I made the background, I switched the photo out to that larger one, and I made the background black and white, and put like a white overlay, just so it's kind of subtle back there. So now we're training the viewer's eyes. They see everything. This is clear. The gig economy, we could put emphasis on the word gig. We have this here, and this is a large section that their eyes will look at. So look at YB, the gig economy, learn how to leverage LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll flow down here. So what I may do is put Sierra College right in here, and then put the date and time here in this box. So I'll just move this over, and then I'm going to use the same font and weight, most likely. So let's do that. Good for now. So what I'll probably do is change this color, set this to multiply, and then reverse this, add a little bit of a stroke here. Because we have this strip down here. So I'm leaving a bit of a gap, so I'll go ahead and change this color too. So I want that wider Sierra College logo. So I think I already saved it yesterday. Let me see. Sierra. You know what? I didn't. I was going. That's what happened. The computer was acting super slow. So I'll show you a way to get that logo into like a transparent file without image trace. So something that I do sometimes is I'll do right click, search Google for image, so we search other images like this that may be in other places that we haven't seen. So this one is 1920 by 1080. So we'll click on that. And this looks a little better. Still not as crisp as I would like, but it works. So I'll copy this image, and do File, New, and do Clipboard. So Clipboard has already been created. Do Command V, paste it in there once it opens. Now go to effects and then blending options and then drop this down. But before I do that, I like to put like a color background behind it just so I can see the white edges. It's not going to be that important to make sure the white edges are all the way gone, just because it's going on a lighter background, but it'll still help us. So go to blending options and then drop this down. So if we drop it down too much, we start to get rid of some of the detail and it looks choppy. So we'll do it just enough where it'll look fine. So this is good enough. Then do OK. Delete this rectangle. I'll delete this background out. So there we go. We got transparent. So now I'll do quick export as PNG. Save it as Sierra College logo. I'll go back. Now I'll place that in here. File, place. So large, it doesn't look that crisp, but you scale it down, it looks presentable enough. And so being as though this is gray, it's kind of getting lost. So what I'll probably do is make some kind of lighter background right there. So let me change this. So while I'm thinking about it, I want to go ahead and change these colors to match this logo a little bit better. And stroke here. This as well. So let me see. That's actually cool like that. So what I'll do is I'll create another one of these, put it right below. And I'll actually make it white. That doesn't look bad like that. Normal. These curves are a little too curvy. Let's see what it looks like at 5. That's cool. It's a little more professional. So that's better with that. And I'm going to add a little shadow to this. Oops, wrong thing. Okay. That looks good. Needed a little more of this darker color here. So I had this red, this red. Let me see what this looks like with the darker. I'm feeling it like this better. And I think I'm gonna make this the darker color. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So now maybe we can switch this back to this. You know what? Let's go ahead and make this fill white. So you know, let me do Command J. So what I'll do is I'll have one layer with no fill on multiply, another layer with no stroke, normal, Bring this up. Bring this. Let me see. Soft light. Bring this down. This down. You know what? It's not. As I look at it, my eyes go down. I'm not feeling it. So I'm gonna make this. Multiply, and make this white. So pretty much how it was at the beginning. So that's looking better to me. And this actually doesn't need to be this thick. So we're doing a bowl here. All right, so now let's see. I'm not feeling it just dangling like that, so I'm gonna do some kind of something here. This looks a lot better. all my line. Okay. Okay. Let me just make sure that the icons are like the same size. So I'll actually put his logo on the other side. So what I'm actually going to do is make this a little darker. So it's a little more professional. This is looking like a hot pink. Honestly. See that? We can leave that like that. It looks good to me. Like an accent line down here. I think we Gucci. All right, brother. That's all.